Hey, Doug Greathouse here, host of the Entrepreneur Journey podcast. And before we get into another amazing interview with an incredible entrepreneur, I wanted to invite you to the Trailblazer Mastermind community. What that community is a community of amazing entrepreneurs, just like the ones that you've seen me interview on the podcast, the 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. You'll get to learn from and engage with those entrepreneurs, and as well as many other entrepreneurs. We have a weekly networking event in there where you will meet the people that are seeking you and that you are seeking, meaning your next podcast guest, or if you want to be on a podcast, your clients, joint ventures, affiliates. We make those connections happen inside the Trailblazer Mastermind at the Entrepreneur Connect. We also have a monthly mastermind called the Trailblazer Mastermind. It's a feet to the fire style mastermind, meaning the goals that you have set for yourself and your business, you have a mastermind that is going to hold you accountable and help you hit those goals. You also learn what is working inside of other coaching businesses to help them grow. So that's not all. We also have the Sales Site All-in-One marketing platform, which you will get access to as a member of the Trailblazer Mastermind. It has everything that you need to grow your coaching business, from funnels, you can host your website there, social planner, email automation, SMS automation, sales pipeline, everything, literally everything you could possibly need to market and grow your coaching business is inside that platform. So you'll get access to that. There's also contests and giveaways. There's the expert training library, where we have experts. If you want to launch and grow your podcast, if you want to write a bestseller, those experts are going to be inside of the mastermind, and you can learn from them and grow. And in addition, last but certainly not least, there's the Raise Your Revenue course, the course by me and my team that we put together to help you hit your 5-figure consistent months in your business and then grow from there. So this is a roadmap to get you to that first 5-figure month, lay the proper foundation, and you can grow from there. So there's so much more. Go check it out. It's at mastermind.salesite.com, and I hope to see you on the other side. I am so excited to have Robert Alexander Doran with me. Robert is the second person to be a return guest on the podcast, just because I like him so much. Well, other than that, he's also got some exciting things going on that he didn't have going on before. I think it's more around his expertise and his genius now, and we're going to dive into that. But thank you so much for being here, Robert. And we'll get into all that exciting stuff here in a minute. But can you just tell people who you are and what you do?
Like I said, I'm Robert Alexander. I say Doran nowadays, but I was brought up saying Doran the way that you do.
Oh,
I find it easier to say Doran because I've had a lot of work done with my teeth, because I busted my mouth open when I was 11 years old and my 2 front teeth are false. But yeah, Robert Alexander Doran. I make short form content for coaches and experts, mainly in the Hormozy style that everyone knows and loves nowadays. And yeah.
Well, that's funny, because when you're saying Doran, I'm thinking the whole time in my head, I'm thinking Doran.
Yeah, it's with an O and not a U. That's how, when people are asking how to spell my name, I'm like, it's like Doran, but it's one word with an O instead of U.
Nice. All right. Well, Robert and I had some fun the last time he was on, because I asked him a question. I don't know, it was serendipity about gnomes, and you have to go back and watch that podcast just for that answer, and that, because that was really funny. So check out his previous interview just for that. But I want to ask you some rapid fire questions now, Robert. And we're going to start with one about gnomes. Gnomes or bird baths?
See, when I answered this question before, and go back and listen to the other podcast, because I laid down some good stuff about mindset in that. But as I said in the last one, I have no emotional attachment to gnomes, and I have even less emotional attachment to bird baths. So it has to be gnomes, for the fact that I was once accused of being a gnome thief. You'll have to go back to the previous episode to hear the full story.
For the full gnome thievery, you have to go back to the previous episode. So best hamburger topping.
So I know you Americans like your meat, although veganism's taken off globally, but in the US as well. Unfortunately, I'm one of the people that hasn't eaten meat.
Mm.
This year or next year will be a decade. I think this
Wow.
year's 9 years since I ate meat. That being said, I've had many a decent meat-free burgers, and the best topping, told you I was going to surprise you with it, Monster Munch.
I don't even know what that is.
You know, like the crisps that are like a monster's claw, they're made of maize. I think it's maize. Put them in, makes it all crunchy.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. See, you did surprise me because I didn't even know you were vegan. And
I'm vegetarian.
Vegetarian. Okay.
Love my cheese.
Cheese. Yes. My wife, she is eating mostly a vegetarian diet, and she is eating a little bit of cheese, but she says she cannot live without cheese. She's like, that's gonna be the hardest thing to quit.
Well, I saw a study ages ago. Apparently, cheese is as addictive as cocaine. So I literally just had a cheese sandwich before coming on here. Like extra mature cheddar. That's the one. But that being said, there's a lot of cheese that I don't like. All of that like brie and camembert. If it's like smushy and kind of smells like feet, not my bag.
I'm not good on that either. Soon coming to a city near you, cheese rehab centers.
Yeah. Are they going to give like vegan cheese as like methadone?
Yeah.
Rather not, thank you very much.
Nice. Next question. If you could be on any game show, what would it be?
So here in the UK, we have a game show called The Cube. I don't know if you guys have anything similar, but it's a cube that people have to go into and they perform tasks, and it's a lot of like hand-eye coordination kind of stuff, like timing, stuff like that, and it's just different tasks. I'd like to be on that because I think that would be what I would perform possibly best at. Anything where it's like general knowledge. I know a lot of stuff. Like I'm in a group for neurodivergent people because like as a toddler, I was violently ADHD. And although I'm not like crazy anymore, I still have like the hyper focus thing. So like if I go down a rabbit hole of like researching random things, I'm all in. And like I know stuff about Star Wars that I don't think George Lucas knows, you know, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But that being said, like my general knowledge as a broad thing, I would suck on any of the game shows that are like where you have to have that kind of wide spectrum of knowledge. I have like really specific niche.
Seems like you could like for Jeopardy. I'm not sure if Jeopardy airs over there, but that would be a show. It's kind of broad, but it's also deep, right?
I only know of Jeopardy because they keep referencing it in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, nice. All right, so last rapid fire question. These are funny because I said rapid fire questions, but we kind of went off on rabbit trails on each one of them, but that's fun.
You knew that was going to happen with me though, didn't you?
I did. Orange or apple juice?
See, this one I'm totally torn on because I like both, and both of them I find that as soon as I have like a sip, if I've got a glass of it and I sip it, the whole thing's gone. Like I find them very moreish. And even worse for that is pineapple juice. Like you take one swig and you're like, oh crap, I've finished it.
Yeah.
I love both apple and orange juice. It just depends on my mood as to probably orange juice, then apple juice, but 55-45 would be the split.
I'm heavy orange juice, especially the pulpier the better. Like I don't like the overly processed orange juice. I like but fresh squeezed orange juice, like I don't think there's anything better than fresh squeezed orange juice.
See, again, that comes down to my mood. If I have both in front of me, it's 50-50 as to which one I'd choose.
And as far as apple juice, I prefer apple cider over apple juice. It's more natural to me. Yeah.
Well, you need to come visit my area of the world. That's what they make. Scrumpy apple cider. Yeah.
Nice. Well, all right, let's get to some real business stuff now. So when you were on the podcast before, you had an offer. It was still around your expertise, but it wasn't really, I feel like you have found the thing that you like your background was in. It's just, I know you're excited about it. So can you talk to like where you were and then how you got to where this new offer, this new thing that you're doing?
So when we spoke on this podcast last, I was pushing mindset coaching, and I've still got a program that is available. I'm actually allowing people in for free. We still do the coaching sessions. It's just not as much one-on-one support up front. So if you are interested in that, feel free to give me a message and you can check it out. I go over things that I've learned from John Whiting, who is incredible. But it got 8-9 months in, and I found that I just wasn't attracting the right kind of people. And I went back to some stuff that John Whiting had said, and he talked about having clout, where for him, as an example, he built a 7-figure marketing agency, and then people were going to him and being like, how have you done this? And he's like, oh, well, I changed how I think. I didn't have that kind of clout, as it were. And then I was thinking about like Tom Bilyeu. He built Quest Nutrition before ever doing Impact Theory. I thought about Taylor Welsh, who does the Daily Mind Medicine podcast. I've learned an incredible amount from him. He had Traffic and Funnels before ever starting that podcast. And his mindset stuff is what he puts out for free. And then I was thinking also, who's the other one? Alex Hormozy. A lot of his stuff is along the lines of mindset, although he probably wouldn't say it himself. He built Gym Launch before ever putting any of that stuff out publicly. And I was like, you know what? I probably need to go back to basics and do something tangible. And then if I build that to a certain size, I can then start maybe charging for mindset coaching again, which would be cool because I do enjoy it. But that's kind of my way of thinking. And I know there'll be people out there like, you could just do it if you wanted to. What I've come to realize recently is that you have to love what you're doing through it being really shit to get to it being good. I remember I watched our last interview. I know that I'm allowed to swear sporadically. Yep. PG-13. And if you aren't invested enough to get through that bad time, you're not going to ever get to the good time, no matter how big the opportunity is. So with video production, I saw it as I could have a handful of clients, do all the fulfillment myself, and I can live a better lifestyle than 90% of the people in the UK. Or it can take off and I can build a multi-million-dollar company, sell it, and do all that kind of stuff. And that's a win as well. Either way, I'm good. Whereas with the mindset coaching, with where I was and the people that I was attracting, it wasn't going to work like that. And like the people that I wanted to work with were already ahead of me. So like, well, the majority at least were already ahead. So trying to sell mindset coaching to them, they were like, who are you to be selling this? You know what I mean? And then that brings me to the other side of it, which is selling mindset coaching. You're selling something totally intangible where like you don't always know if it's going to work. Video production, it's tangible. I can go, this is the quality of the stuff that I do. Do you like it? Do you want it? Let's go. And it's a yes or no. It's a lot more black and white and like, yeah.
Wow. Man, I'm so glad to have you back for a second time because I love how you went through all that stuff about clout. I have a question about that though. So when was it an immediate decision that you're like, I'm severing the tie, or did it take you a small period of time to kind of make that transition?
A bit of both, actually.
Okay.
So I started having the idea. I started making short form video of myself talking about mindset things. And I'd had a bit of time out from the video production side of things, which I think we're going into in one of the other questions that you have lined up. But I came back to it through doing this for myself. I was like, actually, this is what I'm good at, and I do really enjoy it. I wonder if I could do something like this in the future. And then I ran a 5-day like challenge, and it was at that point that I realized like I'm not attracting who I thought I was going to be. Do I keep hammering away at this, or do I take a pivot? And I was like, actually, you know what? I think, like you said, I need to target in on my zone of genius and run with that.
Wow.
So
nice.
There was lead up, and then I was like, actually, there was the event. I was like, nah, actually.
And that mindset stuff is going to come back around on the other side. I just have a feeling, because it's the whole, it's kind of like the last podcast guest I had, we talked about at the end, you give people what they want, but you sell people what they want, but you give them what they need, right? So I'm sure a lot of people are going to come to you for the video stuff, and then boom, you're going to hit them with mindset, and it's like over delivering, right? Oh, I thought I was just getting video production. Now he's just helping me like set my mind like and accomplish things that I didn't expect with just getting video, right? So
exactly.
So yeah, that's awesome, man. I think I'm fascinated by your journey. I'm glad that we've become good friends. I wish we could talk more often. I'm saying this here. Hopefully it happens. I'm coercing Robert to do a training inside of our new group. So be on the lookout for that. But let's get into your actual expertise now. So why was this not your first offer? Why was the video production, given your expertise, why was this not the first offer? Why was it mindset?
Cool. So to give you the full story, I do need to go back quite some years. At 16, I left school and went to the Art College in Plymouth here in the UK to study film. And I did 4 years there, 2 of A-level equivalent and then 2 of a foundation degree. Then I did like 3 years out selling insurance in a call center, which sucked. But a bit about selling. I also learned more probably about how I don't want to sell. We were actively encouraged to use fear tactics, and like, I don't want to be doing that now, you know? So I learned a lot there. Then I went back and finished my degree, won an award, which is what this is. For people listening, I'm holding up an award to the camera, which was for the short film that I did at the end of my degree. Then I came out of study and I was doing music videos. And like the way that my journey in video production has gone is that I went in at 16 thinking I was going to learn to be an editor. And then I started getting given all this really bad footage. I was like, this sucks. I'm just going to learn how to use a camera, and started shooting myself. Then when doing the music videos, I was like, I know how to use a camera. I know how to put stuff together. But then you actually go to film bands, and I was working with independent artists as well. So they don't have any sort of like prior training in this. And I had to direct them, and getting a performance out of musicians was the next step in directing. So I learned all that. But like I said, I was working with independent artists, and they're not known for having lots of capital. So it got to a point where that wasn't particularly sustainable. And I took my parents' advice for the last time when it comes to career, and went and got a job in a post-production house in London. We spoke about this on the last podcast, actually. And that was awful. And at that point, I was like, I'm having a break from video stuff. This sucks. It was after being in Budapest, I came back and I was like, I need to have something where I can work for myself, where I'm not going to be treated like a little bitch, and something that's location independent. So at that point, I started a digital marketing agency, learned Facebook ads, web design, worked with a white label company for like SEO and Google ads, etc. And that went pretty well. Then it got to a point where that wasn't fulfilling. And that's when I was like, actually, you know what, I'd like to do mindset coaching, and was learning a lot about that. I'd learned a lot about it leading up to that point. And then I got into John Whiting's program. I was like, let's go for this properly. Then I found out I wasn't attracting like the right people, didn't have the kind of clout that I thought probably didn't need to have. It turns out I think I did, at least for my ability to sell it. I know there's people out there who don't need that because their internal salesman is stronger than mine, but they're them and now I'm me. So that brought me all the way back around to what I went to college to study when I was 16. So video wasn't my first offer, because when I was doing like music video, I didn't have the knowledge of all this other business stuff, of marketing, of the coaching space, of any of it. So it's a total indictment of my defunct personality that I've had to take such a long journey to get to where I am now. But I'm glad that I have, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be where I am. Wouldn't have the knowledge that I have. I wouldn't have the additional expertise, as you said, to offer. And I'd probably be one of these guys on Fiverr offering this service for dirt cheap, because they couldn't do it to a particularly good quality and don't have all the additional things that they can bring to the table, which I do have now. So did that answer the question?
It did marvelously. And if you have not seen Robert's stuff, it is amazing. Just we'll get to this as part of when we talk about what you have to offer, but can you kind of tell people where, like, just in this piece, where they can go to see some of your work, like even just your videos?
Just go to my Facebook or Instagram. I'm also on TikTok or YouTube, but I don't really push to grow them at all. I have started a new Instagram, so it's only got 100 and something followers at the moment, but it's growing every day. On Facebook, you can go facebook.com/Robert Alexander Doran. The new profile on Instagram is currently Robert Alex Doran, but we'll soon go back to what my previous profile was, which will be Robert Alexander Doran.
His stuff is rad. Going back to the 80s, sir.
I'm leaning into my initials more as well. Like I've always
right.
tried to keep away from that because I thought it was a bit lame, but also it's my initials. Rad. Why not?
Takes you back to the 80s.
Yeah, rad, man.
Yep, that's rad. So let's go for a little bit further. This is going to be very good for anyone that is interested in doing short form videos. What do you think are the 3 key elements to go into creating a good short form video?
Cool.
Or not just good, but great.
So number 1 is the hook, because you have 3 seconds or so to catch someone's attention. So you need to say something that's either like controversial or has statistics in it, or is going to hook them in, essentially. And that's the number 1 thing. If you don't have a good hook, you're kind of shooting that video in the foot from the start. And that's why, like, I bring up John Whiting again. Something that I don't particularly like about his content is that it's all repurposed, but he never pre-frames any of it with a hook. And he spent, like, because I'm in his program, I watch it. I spend the first 20 seconds trying to figure out what he's talking about. And by the time I figure out what he's talking about, it's finished. Like, you need to be like, this is what this is about. And if you can make it controversial or be like more gripping, even better. Number 2 is the actual content itself. What are you saying? Is it of value? And for something to be valuable, it needs to either entertain, educate, or motivate. And if you're not doing any of those 3 things, it's probably not of value. So you need to make sure what you're saying is good or great, even, as you said. So, like, and then also make it succinct as well. As we all know, attention spans are dropping more and more and more. If you start waffling and rambling, people are going to fall off, and very quickly. And then thirdly, which kind of ties to that last point, is your performance. Like, how are you saying this? Like, you can have a great hook and a valuable thing that you're talking about, but if you say it with no confidence, people are going to fall off as well. And they can see that in your body language. They can feel it in your energy. That's the good thing about videos. It's a transfer of energy. So, like, people can tell, like, subliminally your intent. You know what I mean? So if all of that's off, it doesn't matter how good the hook and the actual content is. Like, for example, so with Grant Cardone, he's always like, you got to get your money straight. Yeah. If he went, savings accounts are kind of lame. And yeah, you need to sort your money out, because if you get taken to court and you don't have $1 million in the bank, you're probably going to be a bit screwed. Nobody's there for that. They want Grant Cardone like, savings account are dumb, man, and you need to sort your money out. You need $1 million in the bank, or you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. Like, yeah, it has to be a performance behind what's being said, and if you don't have that, then it doesn't matter how good it is. The first two are.
Yeah. So much to unpack there. Energy. I talk about this all the time. Is the energy that you have on video, not just confidence. Like, you could be. I think they go hand in hand. But if you're confident, your energy seems to come out more as well. So.
And also, don't get me wrong, like, if your personality is that of being quite reserved and you're confident in like stillness, you can be gripping in being like that. But if the confidence isn't there and then you're quiet, and see what, like, I know if people are listening to this on Spotify or anything like that, they wouldn't have seen, but when I did that impression of Grant Cardone being non-confident, I was looking down and not making, like, looking up. Like, that, it's that kind of thing. But if you're looking directly at the camera and you're talking slowly but like grippingly, I'm not particularly good at it, because I'm like I said, I was like ADHD as a child. So but you could probably think of people who are like Neil Patel. He's quite like bit nerdy, bit like, he's not Gary V, like, or Grant Cardone. And like, people still listen to him because what he's saying is of value, and he's saying it with that confidence. So it can be, you have to also have congruency with your personality. If somebody like Neil Patel started trying to act like Grant Cardone, the energy would be off. People would pick up on that, you know? Yeah.
I'm thinking of an analogy here, and let's see if it tracks, right? So going to school, right? You had that, to me, the teachers that I learned the most from were the best presenters, right? Like, if you had that monotone teacher in front of the class, okay, do you read book page 239 in your textbook? You know, I did not learn from them as well as I did from the teachers that were good presenters. So I think it's very much the same thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're a teacher, if you want to really connect with your students, get better at presentation. Right. Yeah. Awesome.
But make it congruent with your personality. If you are someone that isn't going to be happy and bubbly and all over the place, don't try and force it. But also, don't be the cowering shrew in the corner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So now let's talk about why it's not advantageous for someone to try and do short form videos by themselves, and it's better to hire an expert.
Isn't always better. If they want to do it on their own and they are willing to put in the time, do it. I've said in some of my videos, like, what I offer isn't rocket science. You can learn to do it yourself. I just have a lot of hours of practice in editing programs, using cameras, in directing people. And it's the same with coaching. Like, you get a coach so you don't, or you buy a program, anything like that, so you can shortcut your way to doing it better, more quickly. That's the advantage. And also, if you're someone who's busy, which if you're thinking of hiring an expert, you probably are, because if you're not, then you probably should be putting in the time into doing marketing and sales activities that generate revenue, to the point where you're so busy that you need an expert. But if you are already busy, you probably shouldn't be putting in the time to do all of the video stuff, and should allow someone with expertise and experience like myself to help you out so you can have a better product.
Yeah. One of the things that I think you said in there that separates you is the direction part. That a lot of people, like, they'll hire someone to edit videos for them, but they don't tell them the how to make a good video. They just do the captions and all that sort of stuff. And they're like, their video still may look good, but you help them in the actual presentation of it. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's super powerful. So that is what really separates Robert and his expertise from a lot of people out there. So that is awesome. Now, I mentioned this a minute ago. You're going to be providing a training to the members of the Trailblazer Mastermind community. Can you tell us what they will learn from that training?
Well, so far, what I've provided to Doug to revise is a training that I already had made on editing. And it's a very in detail 2-hour masterclass on my process when editing reels within Adobe Premiere Pro. And it goes through step by step exactly how to do them. I've left out some more advanced techniques, but what is taught in there is guaranteed to get you great quality results as long as you follow what's there. And then also I'd love to do more if Doug's up for it in terms of how to plan and shoot, going over things like lighting, audio, which cameras to use, how to set up your phone properly. So when you bring it into Premiere, it doesn't absolutely screw with the colors, which does happen and has happened to me in the past. So yeah, I'm an open book. Like, I'm happy to help the community.
Nice. Yeah, so as you can see, we haven't really ironed out exactly what that training is. I just know that's going to be super valuable. So be paying attention, because that's going to happen in the near future. One thing that you said there, and going back to why you hire an expert, right? Adobe Premiere Pro, right? Not everybody that's listening to this is going to have that software. And it's learning that is something in itself, right? Learning that software. That's why an expert already knows the ins and outs of that software and how to be efficient in it. Like, if you are a newbie going into Adobe Premiere Pro, the buttons are just going to overwhelm you. Like, all the things to do are just going to overwhelm you. And why not just release yourself of that headache and go with an expert, right?
Well, something that has come to mind, which I found quite fun at the time, when I was recording that training, I learned a new shortcut. And it's in the training. I didn't cut it out because I wanted it to be a little raw and to show that, like, there's always more to learn on Premiere Pro. Like today, I've come across an extension that will take out silencers, which is going to save me so much time. I need to test it out, but once I've done that, I'll be able to share that with my community, etc. And I can put it in as an addendum. Is that the right word? An amendment,
so.
whatever, to the training that I'll be providing for your guys. Like, there's always more to be learning. And I think even with Premiere Pro, a lot of where, like, if you're new to it, doing the actual thing isn't the hardest part. What trips people up, and it always tripped me up in the start, is troubleshooting, like fixing things that, like, you have to go through 10 different settings and stuff like that, frame rates, bit rates, all that kind of stuff. That's the hard part. And once you know how to do that efficiently, the whole thing gets easier.
Yeah. And last thing I'm going to say about that, obviously, if it's something that you want to learn and to tackle, Robert's going to show you how to do that. If you have the software. And it is important that there's a bunch of video editing softwares out there, but none of them can do what Premiere Pro can do. It's the top tier kind of thing out there. So that's why Robert uses it, and that's why his videos are so incredible. Where I was going with that, if Robert can show you how how to do it yourself, but the expertise, just that's there's just if you are focusing on your zone of genius, that's where I was going. So if video editing is not your zone of genius, why are you focusing on it? You should be focusing on helping people with your zone of genius, and let someone like Robert and his company handle the video editing. So I'm pitching you all day here because I'm just such a believer in what you're doing. So now, thank you, Robert, so much for this interview. Now, after I pitched you, can you kind of tell everybody what you really what you offer? Like, what's the heart of what you do?
So, like I said, it's short form video content. We do monthly packages. There's 3, a 7-day a week one, a 5-day a week, and 3 days a week. So there's a lower barrier to entry if you're not ready for a video every day. And then if you want more than a video a day, we do bespoke packaging after that. It includes help with planning, coming up with ideas, getting your studio set up right, doing lighting, making sure the sound's good, the camera, all of that good stuff. Then we do a shooting session and I'll direct over Zoom. Like I said before, I wanted a job where I could do it remotely. That wasn't available back in 2017 or whatever. But now we can do it, and you can shoot yourself whilst I direct over Zoom. I'll make sure that the performance is good, that your energy is right, that what you're saying is succinct, and that you're coming across well. All of that good stuff. You'd shoot over the footage in a Google Drive folder. We take it, make it look sick, and then we can post it on your behalf as well. The posting is like an added bonus because I've designed my offer to try and take as much off the entrepreneur's plate as possible, because content creation is time consuming. So I figured the more we can do to give time back, the better. And that's basically it.
Nice. Sounds like one of your offers is full, done for you from beginning to end, right? Yes, they have to be in the videos, but you help them produce the videos and you deploy the videos. So
yes.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So sounds like you have different levels that they can come in at and see what you could do for them. That is awesome. And where do they go to check that out, or do they just reach out to you?
They can reach out to me. Like I said, my Facebook handle is Robert Alexander Doran. I have a free private group on Facebook now also. We just hit 200 members, I believe, which is cool. I only started it like last week. Nice. You can find that by searching Video Marketing Mastery. Should be the first, if not one of the first to come up. And like I said, I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, whichever one you want to find my videos on. Instagram and Facebook are where I'm actually active. And then if they want to blaze ahead and book a call, they can go to robertalexanderduran.com/coffee. And also I have a free training which runs over the whole strategy and why it works, etc., which is robertalexanderduran.com/2-hour content with a 2 as in the number.
Nice. All right. Awesome. So we're going to post, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, it is going to be in the show notes. So those links will be there. And eventually there'll also be a link to the training inside of the Trailblazer Mastermind group once we get that solidified as well. So thank you, Robert. I think last time I asked you for parting words for our entrepreneurs, and it was stellar. So I'm asking you to top that now. Do you have any parting words for the entrepreneurs out there?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Nice. Yeah.
Be yourself. Lean into self-acceptance. And the more you do that, the more you'll find where you're meant to be.
Yeah. So until next time, thank you, Robert, and keep moving forward.